All right, let's talk about something that I know can sound like a total compliance nightmare, SOC 2. But stick with me here because we're going to completely flip that idea on its head. We're going to reframe SOC 2 as a powerful, strategic weapon, especially for startups trying to make it in the incredibly high stakes world of live sports technology. So let's dive right in.
To really get this, I want to start with a question. Just think about it for a second. When you're dealing with live sports video, what is the single biggest risk? Here it is. You've got millions of people all watching at the exact same time. You've got data flying back and forth in real time. In an environment like that, trust isn't just some nice to have. It is literally everything. One slip up and poof, it's gone.
And that really brings us into this modern sports arena, which is just this insane pressure cooker of technology. I mean, the stuff that's powering the fan experience today is unbelievably complex. Just think about everything that's happening behind the curtain during a big game. You've got the live broadcast streams, of course, but you also have highlights being generated in real time, augmented video overlays popping up on screen, player biometrics being analyzed, even fan interaction data. For the startups building all this tech, handling that data perfectly isn't just a feature, it is the entire game. Now, with all that amazing complexity comes a very unique set of risks. And this is where things can go from amazing to disastrous in the blink of an eye.
I mean, can you imagine a video pipeline failing right in the middle of a championship-winning play? Or a streaming service crashing in the final seconds of a nail-biter game? We're talking about things like sensitive player biometrics getting leaked, or analytics errors that could completely skew betting markets. The consequences aren't just bad, they are immediate, and they are severe. And here's the bottom line. In the world of live sports, you don't get second chances. A single dropped frame isn't just a tiny technical glitch. That one little hiccup can cost a company millions in revenue. But even worse, it can completely shatter the trust of your viewers, the leagues, and all your broadcast partners. So this is precisely where SOC 2 enters the picture. But I really need you to stop thinking of it as just some boring bureaucratic checklist. It's not. Think of it as a framework that's purpose-built to help you prove you can be trusted in these insane, high-pressure situations. So what actually is it? Well, SOC 2 is a framework that was created by the American Institute of CPAs. And it's not a certification you just get. It's an official report from an auditor that digs into how your company actually handles customer data. It's basically the official rulebook for proving you're trustworthy. And it's all built around these 5 core principles, which are called the Trust Services Criteria. Now, security, that's the big one. It's mandatory, everybody has to do it. But then you can add others based on what your business needs, like availability, super important for streaming services, or confidentiality, which is absolutely critical if you're handling secret team strategies. You'll also hear about 2 different types of reports. A type 1 is like a snapshot. It shows that on one particular day, your security controls were designed properly. A type 2, well, that's the marathon. It tests how well those controls actually work over a long period, usually 6 to 12 months. And let me tell you, for those big enterprise clients, the type 2 is the one they really want to see. Okay, so this brings us right to the heart of what we're talking about today. SOC 2 isn't just about playing defense and avoiding risk. It's about playing offense. It's about using it to go out and win more business. It is a massive competitive edge. So here's how it helps you win, broken down into 4 key ways. First, you are flat out proving you can be trusted. Second, you are immediately meeting a non-negotiable requirement from the big fish, the major leagues, the broadcasters. They won't even take a meeting without it sometimes. Third, it just forces you to build a stronger, better system. And all of that comes together to accelerate your sales cycle because you're already miles ahead of the competition. And here's a really practical benefit that every founder is going to love. You know when a huge potential client wants to do a security review? Instead of spending weeks filling out massive questionnaires, you just hand them your SOC 2 report. Done. It streamlines that whole painful process and saves you an incredible amount of time and resources. Okay, so you're sold. You see the value, but how does a small startup with a limited team and a tight budget actually get this done? The key is to be smart about it, to have a lean, strategic playbook. So here it is, a simple 4-step path. First, you do what's called a gap assessment, just to see where you stand. Second, prioritize. Please, don't try to boil the ocean. Focus on the controls your clients are actually asking for first. Third, use automation. There are these things called GRC tools. That stands for governance, risk, and compliance, and they make collecting evidence so much easier. And finally, plan your timeline strategically. Maybe a quick Type 1 report is the right first move before you commit to the longer Type 2.
And just to give you a realistic idea of timing, getting ready for that Type 1 snapshot report, you're probably looking at 2 to 4 months. Now, for the big one, the Type 2 report that those large partners really want, you should plan on a process that takes anywhere from 6 to 14 months start to finish. And that extra time is really important because the auditor has to see your controls working day in and day out for a while.
And yeah, let's talk about the money. This isn't free, but you absolutely have to think of it as an investment, not just a cost. You'll have expenses for automation tools and then, of course, the auditor fees themselves. And as you can see, those fees are quite a bit higher for the more intensive Type 2 report. The final number really just depends on how complex your setup is.
So we end up right back where we started. In the crazy, high-pressure world of live sports, trust is your single most valuable asset. So the real question isn't, can we afford to do SOC 2? The real question is, can we afford not to? Is the foundation of your startup truly built to handle the pressure? That's the question every founder in this space really has to answer.